Okay, so today I'm going to be speaking to Mackenzie Lintz, the actress known for Under the Dome and her role in The Hunger Games also, and some other acting roles. Um, so essentially, I'm going to ask you a very generic kind of question first off, if you don't mind. It might, you've probably been asked it many times before as an actress, but could you could you just kind of go into detail about what got you into acting? What kind of I know your relatives are also in the acting business.
Yeah, I actually, all growing up, I played sports. So I would play sports year round,
All right.
and that was kind of my thing. But my mom's been an actress for a really long time, and I have three younger siblings, and they actually all started into the acting business before I did. So they started working, and I kind of got a little curious, and so I guess around when I was 13-ish, 12 or 13 is
Yeah.
when I really decided to kind of try it. Because I always thought it was so weird. But and then I booked an episode um, of a television show called Drop Dead Diva.
Uh-huh.
And I did one episode and I had a lot of fun. So I started working really hard at it. And then the next thing that I did was Hunger Games. So it was kind of a good start, I guess.
All right. Awesome. Now, growing up in a family of actors, obviously, was your mother often preoccupied with her acting business?
Sometimes she had to go to set either with my siblings or for herself. But that was kind of good because then I sort of got used to what a set was like and sort of like how you're supposed to act and what to do and what not to do. So it actually kind of taught me and my siblings a lot to be able to sort of watch her work before we started our own careers.
Yeah. Uh, did this sometimes get in the way of your sports playing? And if you don't mind me asking, what kind of sports did you actually play?
I played softball for 8 years, volleyball for 5 years, basketball for 3 years, and it was just always my thing. I loved it, and uh, I played year round competitively till I was about 13 when I started acting because they couldn't really mix.
Yeah.
Um, but then I played sports at the school that I went to, which was a small private school, and they were the ones who were very cool about me kind of leaving for work so I could leave school for work.
Awesome.
And so sometimes I would miss like a half a season of basketball or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, but usually it worked out that I could play most seasons of the sports that I played, so it kind of worked out well.
Great. Uh, the, is it true that you enjoyed sports more than being in front of the camera?
Um, it's different. They're two very different stages, and I'm completely different people in both situations. But I love sports. I actually do, I play small, like, intramural sports at college,
Yeah.
and it's still a huge part of my life. I love it. But as a career and as for something that I want to do for the rest of my life, acting definitely wins out. But I kind of love them both equally in different ways.
Yeah. How did you get your role in Under the Dome? Obviously, that's quite a prominent role in the series. Not exactly a small one. How did you come about? Did you audition for the role?
Yeah, I did. I actually was being a brat about doing the audition, and I really didn't want to do it. And then my mom was like, "Oh, you're just acting like the character anyway, so let's just do it." And so I ended up doing it, and I was like, "Well, she's in a car on a road trip, so I'm not even gonna take my PJs off, and I'm gonna keep my hair up." My mom was like, "All right, whatever." So I did the audition, and then I got a call back, and I worked pretty hard on the callback just because it kind of took it to another level.
Yeah.
And then we started just hearing little bits and pieces of information like how tall are you? Are you available? Just other little things that kind of gave us a clue of, okay, maybe this is going somewhere. And then we found out that I booked it, and it was so exciting. My dad called me to come home, and I walked in the door, and my whole family, all the siblings, even like my cats, everyone was sitting in my living room. And I was like, what's going on, guys? This is weird. And it was like a family conference, and I was kind of like knew something was about to happen. So I walked into the kitchen, and my dad was like, all right, Kenz, I've got bad news. And I had been thinking about it, so I kind of knew like, I didn't get it. and he was like, "You're gonna have to spend the summer away from your friends shooting a CBS television show." So it was a cool way that they told me. And then we didn't hear anything for a while, and then they called us on a Monday and told us that we had to be in North Carolina on that Wednesday following. So I had about 2 days to pick up my life and get out. So.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a lot of celebration afterwards.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it was very exciting. But it was hard too because I don't think I could really announce it or like put it on Twitter or Facebook or anything until a little bit after that.
Ah, well,
But
secrets.
once we could announce it, it was like we were all freaking out. It was a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
So
Great. So I suppose you said you were being a brat about going to the interview, but do you feel you actually secretly kind of wanted to give acting a try, or kind of just kind of dabble in it, or was it one of your kind of
well,
ambitions?
it's different because I have a studio in my basement.
All right.
So when we do original auditions, um, basically all we do is go down to my basement and shoot it on a flip cam and send it in. So
I
it's a
see.
very pretty like it's kind of an easy process. So
Yeah.
it was like I think I had a lot of school that night and I was just like let's just put it off, let's just put it off and so it's not as big of a deal. Like we didn't have to drive anywhere for the audition.
Yeah. That'd be
So
great. Yeah, and that way you can do things in your own terms, of course.
mhm.
So I must confess, I haven't actually watched too much if of Under the Dome,
Mhm.
but my colleague Christopher has actually. Um,
Okay.
I was wondering if he could ask you a few questions about being on Under the Dome, because honestly,
Really.
yeah. But introduce yourself, Chris.
Hi, hello, I'm Chris.
Hi.
I was just wondering if you, Nori, do you see a lot of yourself in the character?
Yeah, I do. A little more than I probably should. She's very sassy, very she kind of does what she wants and I think it actually once she gets under the dome, I think she kind of tames down a little bit. So I see more of myself in the calmer Nori from season 2 than I do in the punches girls tooth out season 1 Nori. So but she's been so much fun to play and it's been a really great experience. I always say that if we were like in real life, Nori and I would be best friends. So
After the events in season 2, where do you see Nori and Joe's relationship going?
hopefully it keeps going. I think they're really cute. That's been actually pretty fun. We kind of from the beginning had really good chemistry and so a lot of the producers really liked the work that we were doing. But we 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 have a lot of fun together, so I hope it keeps going.
Do you ever get confused with the storyline?
Yes, absolutely. Completely, because we only get the scripts every week or so. So we sort of get the scripts how you guys get the episodes every week. And sometimes we'll get a script and just have no idea where they're going with it. I remember the mini dome stuff at first. I was very confused. So,
Is any of the other cast members, are they quite awkward to work with?
oh gosh. um, well, not really for me. I look up to a lot of them, like Dean Norris. So it's kind of been cool to watch some of them. But I know Grace Cox, who plays Melanie, would freak out anytime she was around Dean Norris because Breaking Bad is her favorite show. So like the first time she met him, she cried and all this stuff. But I don't know. It was never very. The first couple weeks was like definitely an adjustment because I didn't really know anyone. But it was like that for everybody too. So.
Is Dean Norris very like his character in Under the Dome?
Not in like the bad guy way, but in the sort of like I don't know. Dean is like can be like hilarious, but he can also be very intimidating just because of how successful he is.
How was it when in season 1 when um, your not your mum, well your mum passed away? How was it working with that?
Oh, I love Samantha Mathis, who played Alice, my mom who died. She is one of my favorite people on the planet, and she was definitely probably my biggest role model through season 1. And so in Mackenzie's world, it was very sad to see her go, and also in Nori's. But in my world also, it was kind of, it was one of my favorite scenes to shoot because it was so natural. I remember in the rehearsal, Samantha, who plays Alice, Samantha and I were like crying in the rehearsal when there's like not even cameras rolling, and all of our like directors and producers were like, just save the tears, save the tears. And it was just like, it was very, very natural. It was just a cool scene to shoot, but definitely very sad.
Out with Under the Dome, do you keep in contact with a lot of the cast?
Yeah, Grace, who plays Melanie from season 2, is actually one of my good friends. And we just went to London together for the London Expo. And I talked to Alex Koch, who plays Junior. Everyone kind of, I mean, obviously everyone lives very different, separate lives in different sides of the country. So I don't see them very much other than when we work together, but we definitely keep in touch.
When do you think principal photography will begin for season 3?
We start March 11th.
Ah, right. Have you got any idea of a release date or anything?
I would assume in the US it's going to be somewhere in June like it has for the past few years. I don't know if it'll be different for you guys, but I know over here it's going to be somewhere around June 30th.
Could you see the story like I know Barbie when you get out of the dome, where do you think when you get out with the dome there'll be more story to tell under the dome, or will they leave that?
Yeah, I think it was funny because in season 2 when Barbie got out, we were all kind of like, well, will we all get out? And then what will be the purpose of our show that's called Under the Dome if none of us are under a dome anymore? So unfortunately, I'm sure they're going to find a way to keep us trapped under some dome somewhere, so.
I seen in the first season as well the little Simpsons reference. I thought that was quite smartly done as well.
Yeah, I think a little girl who was like, I think she was like 7 or 8 the other day was like, is your show because of the Simpsons movie? And I was like, no. So I get that comment a lot.
What was it like when Eddie Cahill, was he first choice for the character, or did he go through a process?
What? I don't know. Eddie, I feel like he was kind of the perfect addition to our cast in real life, and also I really liked his character, and a lot of my friends, their favorite character ended up being Sam. So I think he was kind of perfect. But it was cool. That was also the first time we had extra characters, obviously, because it was our second season. So we were kind of all waiting to see who they would cast as the new characters.
Do you have any plans underway for another project coming up soon other than Under the Dome?
I'm actually in college right now, so I'm trying to get college finished with, but right now we go back in March, so my spring is pretty much taken up by season 3, and summer. I think you guys call it university, not college.
We do have college. University is like the step up.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like high school, college, university.
Yeah, both exist at the same time. I have just one more thing to ask you. Obviously, you spoke about being on set with big names like Dean Norris, etc., and feeling a little bit intimidated. Now do you feel more kind of secure and at home, and now that you've made a name for yourself, do you feel that you're kind of...
Yeah, it didn't even take that long in season 1. I remember the first night I got there, because I was the very youngest of the cast. Colin Ford's like 2 months older than me, and we were kind of the young ones, and they still, even in season 3, they still all call us the kids. But so being so young, it was even double as intimidating because you're young with all these adults, and you're also in a very new environment with people you don't know. But honestly, it probably took till like the end of episode 2 of season 1, and I was very comfortable, and I felt like I belonged. But season 1 also, there was a lot of like kind of scary experiences with like my first scene where I had to cry, or my first kissing scene with Colin, stuff like that. So season 1 was very nerve-wracking in that way. But season 2 was so comfortable, and season 3 I think is going to be even more so. So it's definitely like a little family.
All right.
Do you think Nori would survive the Hunger Games?
Somebody asked me that, and I love that question. I seriously think she would do so well. She'd do better than me. I don't think she'd fly in fires.
Which weapon do you think she would use?
I don't know. I really liked Katniss's bow and arrow, but I don't feel like I can take that one. So maybe Kato and Clove's throwing knives. I liked those.
All right. It was very awesome speaking to you, Kenzie. I think that's a...
Yes, as well.
Yeah, we've about ran out of time, unfortunately. But yeah, it was great. Thanks for speaking to us.
Thank you for speaking to me.
Yeah, it was great.
We'll hopefully talk to you again in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
And photography for the third series, yeah, of
Yes.
Under the Dome begins March next year, wasn't it?
Yes, March 11th, so
Alright.
here in a couple months.
Okay, great. Right, yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for speaking with us.
All right, you guys. Have a good one.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.